machine Leebi Ŋulami okay oje chere momle sani onyokpe coming to you live from the heart of the city niji Asafo Jato Street Leebi Ŋulami shkobe ko je chere momle sani onyokpe ngbeji ni tetelate wa wo shida klike anu ncho wa ke anu ji akpe chere wo wasa obote ochi konkrom ni obakwe woni sanje shikamo yo ha kan komai ka na kelele wakeni amingbla momba be won twama e machine wa wo shida klike an Great Aim Academy Heartbeat Homeopathic Clinic Helios Care Center ke agbene niji base vet kids drop amedama wose woke niji Leebi Ŋulami ni fimo ba nyebeno ni gonti ajo ni atupa on body manye ko e won chife dromo afi wono ka wo en ope saka woke wiemo afi wo den hiemo nchu no Leebi ne if you believe prayer ministry be ni ameje I kind of blow ni ami amedro woke ngmalem ni san ngene won ko kenje niji 2 Corinthians 6:2 jameji ni won ko ni kanimo ye woke ya hie keji be afu no ko kan ye ke nyanshi no efi uno ke jomo fe ishi wono ike in the time of my favor I heard you and in the day of salvation I helped you. I tell you now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation. Na kan ke fata here okay no fe mom ni few ni okubayo here no iwo owo no pe no ye wala sakona ke oye no fe no lebne inche niji ula William Amenuvo afole chama ge political evangelist she de mom nke han ji NDC ku ya Blekuma South Miami keji awe nadmo lenwe ifata heku ameju nugba ni yen na akwe koni na ke nugba ni shoishi ne jajima ke krokume aba ngone sajiele obana emingbla mo ojugba ke ya hie inche kojo ameya Michael lenwe fata eji political activist ni lenwe damose ku okechon ehingbe glassy mi ken ko boni gbejano to ke ni bi krokume yo ye mambulehi ni wofon kwa ke aso wo wongle no lu no obanye bo ho fata wo hi ye Facebook ni ji omashi media keji o like ko o share ke fefe na no stream live la YouTube la hu omashi TV akra le bile ngamo ko ya Dr. Yeman Probi Hospital me feni kwa fata wo he wo ke o waja ne tweme wo hanye mi she ye ni fe mo no oti ni wo ba yo eji wo akwe olulu eke ya hie jaje mo na jaje kenko nugboni shuoshin mami na sa ke krokuma he ke ya hie meniji no ne hwe ni sa ke woni wokwe ke saji krokuma ni fata e woche ochin hini la wonke wi mo efhwe ba no obakwe ake aso lele woye wongle no lo alo meniji sane ni yomi ewo shkobe ko fata mo e Facebook niji omashi media nje ogowili mi aboje ko yi akpeche
akpeche wa deche
nakai
mbasha na echefi
wa deche
you almost getting to 8 months or a year or so alo mali
bashe
o beshi to bilo bishi boshi ejo ashishin le
ojugba she first o se kolo ya tunuchumu apa ke wa jaka me ba ni fear for
yes age wo NDC as a political party woye me am you and kwali no can be crap or one again in the lights of many bad year for me on again mo fia mo body wo mo dey ni ayu and kwali na you alesa like ni ba wa Ghana like obo mo dey to ken be dey pepe
ojugba
mo dromo na woye
yo
fontuni
na Blekuma South fen wo ojugba
Blekuma South fen ojugba denche
okay
Honorable Dr. Alfred Okovandapo MP for Blekuma South boy wo modern ojugba denche oyake simple school oyake bi na ba complete ole oto akwe
in akwe boni ishidamo yo ha
so akoje
in butikum ni benu me nye yake aba gbele na shimina ke bi akpamni
yes because ni ehweji sen ni akeba afei lodba ni Honorable Okovandapo be ni yo ehana ke fen kuse ko ni afei sen papa bona afei ni ke students tasen no amena ka tasen no ni shikana ke pay na kan say ni issue worth it
okay
no about been very soon she no fear on your electrical issues cannot fear no be an ele try le work be an ina feel je nike 1 million coded program ne no much of bene no call ye be no obo mitui no be no kofi mo bo mo de no to de no register aka kase computing afi ni bi ni court e go no ba pay almost 8,000, 7,000. I feel like free. Take advantage, no cassette. You call cassette and no nahi wolo. I link bukete man say no ye Ghana no tuni ye man say ni a pay shika wo account me. No you tell me wanako no tumo ni a wo modern way agent. What take advantage? She no tun wole want to. If you get be anyone we want free discussion say Leebi Ŋulami.
Ni age live na drumo if you want.
No drumo no fi no yo juba. Wanda no chole sha ke mene we bele we ko.
Juba.
O ke ngamo ha o tibulu ko ko lo fe. Ke ji am bo to e o be no ko fi ma ko ba tabi.
Okay.
Ke ngamo ha me denje impapa Reverend Albert Obotibo ke mission to nation as from be fe ni ko Leebi ne. Am ko ma shi TV wa.
Okay.
O ke Leebi ne ngamo agbo e aha be fe.
Yo dani wa waji shi na ge nche really moko shi ko me ko emi na ke eji no ko ni country no be fe be ni oba be obi ake how far ni ashe wo masoma ge ni chita be wo ke no agin shi dan wo ko yin we ken ko coding program na ni eji no ko ni dan no for we mo ake ona boni program e shi da mo yo ya wo ngone ke ji wo ko yele mi na ke mi blam fi o baba
bongo kentle ewe no ko ake biane mamprobi school agbena ni sanebi money nke ba yi shikene ne ke mamprobi school no ni biane is all over social media ke part of the school has been turned into a dumping site low. That's because sanebi money ma be clean fewa ke shi oba ma school choke machine so be you me your case engineer ke be hin wa anya agbele school na no kwale wo he wo shi school ni agbeku na agbeleku na ni no ni heku echon ni any architect all the ball assuolo na agbapi because je simple school alone man produce school pen one and can issue keji ote touch all the Hausa go me ayalolo cluster of schools where no the same challenge persists there part of the school echon dumping side no like school be bejemepe alo school no call bejemepe je echon eko na ke ball assuo ni won bi akeshin ka ta maybe ni heni wo chon wo bi akeshin we are school no ba choni lelo ni olebe ni atowodwe asa whatsa shia kesi mami mwenje mbo ni keji ote we are na phone ye it was an anima bi many kwo onukwa ni nko na mbotu Leebi na ja kata maybe ni wo bi by school na ba ta ne ken phone name e wo to be no nyami nyu you akeshin anakwa agri sha agbe school na won pa fire akeshin the major stakeholders involved the assembly members and whoever they should make sure akeshin at least kejo small bongo man send video behind no careful no work akeshin Bola is engulfing most of our public schools now and it's not in the best interest of Ghanaians so makpa for ake akweje membeka will be near school here agbene 1 million coders program bongo neke 1 million coders program na imbu akeshi sometimes ake no koni afe in the open to equip Ghanaians with the knowledge of coding to help them assist them secure jobs outside and become tech savvy. But at the end of the day, dan if you tomorrow, I don't know I can hear ka afi you do nshiju asani ke mukufemo na igbe dan iba you akeshi kula afi ni na ekoye bie. How many of the Ghanaian youth are aware akeshi this initiative is going on? Bongo ya aware na kan. Keje gbe ni kula ba chita ole no kuna kan. Ewo mi ele no kuna kan. Sani mi bia akeshi. How many youths anu san yenye ni enu akeshi afi no koye ne kengbe. Allo said you flash. This is not an accusation. It's for a selected few of a political party will be ni way ajeme na me afi no kuna kan. If that is the case, it shouldn't be. The main aim of the 1 million coders program is to equip 1 million Ghanaian youth to understand coding, know coding, to help the tech industry in Ghana and also secure jobs outside. To be near me, you actually Otaga and Ekule Ochuni Yamanse. At the end of the day, the data should ask Akeshi how many Ghanaian youth have been trained so far since 2025 till date. No, this is a currently Obabi. Nakanamba now training. How many is left to be trained? That's one thing that we need to know. Bongo, the reason why anyone person not being against engineer and Akeshi, I've had 1 million coders program. I forget what man naka or I trust me ulu. We don't have any data of the number of people that have been trained because it started last year. Right? It was since last year, many ni achose. Ni me enye ni echona kan chose mo no calculate bele no tumo few allo awa because the ministry said that it's not only training the coders just to leave them, but it will help them secure jobs or help them to advance and even start do a startup. I'm a livelihoods. At the end of the day, the most tangible question, Jack, is how many of Ghanaian youth have been trained in the coders program so far, and how many slots is left? How many? What is the number of youths that are being trained there? Bongo ni nshina kan. Neka faith me kule ko we mo ke wo koyo mi na kan. Wo ken teje na ken na ko tell me 100 pay this area. What am I going to do? Ben ya seje follow. Because it's a national program. Bongo let's say kule mi mali. And also far as a national program, then it means like there are slots to every place. Now I feel like I train here. E wo man probi na feel e menye na atawo ye jeme. Alo bi le fene aya man probi street. That be Bona. So whenever we are putting things there, we should just give the tenets of whatever we are talking about. Information had the ordinary Ghanaian. It was the same issue we are having in Ghana here. We know actually at the end of every year, if we graduate over 10,000 engineers, the system can only cater for, let's say, maybe 1,000. But yet, we train the 10,000 at the end of the day, there's no jobs for them to do. That's the same thing that we are seeing with the 1 million coders program. We see political communicators can work all your but the pertinent question is, receive training. If that number is allotted there, the next place that is being done in policies are done in such a way that it will favor the citizenry. It is not to score political points. If these questions are answered, then we know we are making headway. No one lele agency last year over 1 million or what training half of a million. It's 500,000. 500,000 beer na few here. And every area that is being done is taking, let's say, maybe 50,000. Then we know yes, we are having a tangible conversation.
Okay. Yo, no ni nyami no ite tracker kokra be ni ibahani wo mambie wona ne kenji boni program ya lo na ke mi blame no ye won beka
seriously feel me actually a lack of knowledge might people perish. And with this global system we are on, every information where you get it, if it is not for any mischief. As we speak here, in I can hear laptop, in I can hear a search engine, make billion can be an only tower search. The Bahale figures me leche, money 2 minutes of its time. The information I just even ChatGPT, I just went to Google this information. I want information. And as we are educated there, we school where we are, we go through schools, no one can educate people. And there are search engines, no one wants information, so we can easily get them. This information, it is easily, readily available. You want to know the number of people that are registered, those that have been trained, number of this, they are all there. So if we have all gone through schools, what the investors actually be here, they will information as if somebody has kept information, they baggy. No, they were doing the people disservice. Because you will see the answers and I can also speak at 20 may register 138.7K register as we speak on the site of coders program. I'm a family site. When you go there, informations are there. As to whether or doubt information you are there, it's also a different thing. But we don't create impression as if near aketo near affair me. That is not the issue. I announce I can your social media, TikTokers, I can go and register all those who are interested, and that is exactly what I did today. Okay, people no come in many look at registration. In Choco area. No information there. Keba feel one over spread them only come what thing. But we cannot create impression as if any alone amaleni ni akenham mekome are deprived mekome. It was in the open. It came to news about paper send it TikTok, every social media. It was everywhere. he can know entire information. He can just Google and the information. He will get the information into details. No, seriously speaking, it is functioning. Inside you are wakaba ablekuma south near. Mampobika on here. Mamprobi say best school, JGL school. Mamprobi say best school. It is ongoing. Last time I could not lunch, it will come and they get a late. J1. He just walked through there, a fair registration. I can let me. Make me buy Leebi, make me buy Chande, make me buy Beckett. I feel arrangement to ni I feel good, ni a chombo ni yeshia. No necessarily you move to the place. So when you go there, you get the information, then you are good to go. No come money to Nekole enuko here. Stay there. Information get about school. Mo money at a go. She takes time. Ni war. We must do the people the needed good thing. You want to have your car. Anytime you do it back here, go go and take part when you are interested. I think that's what we should be doing. Okay. And the issue of baller, now baller, school yali. Seriously speaking, Mamprobi simple school in mentioning. I don't know. I dump refugee. As we speak, I really don't know. I mentioned Mamprobi simple. In the school, in your government school, in the own actual dumping site. As we speak, Abrikuma South now. If it is true, it is not the best. But as I speak, I don't know a school now for Yali. Roman boys, your Jane, Mamprobi girls school, Yali, now to the dumping site. If it is not students, ni amenoni, ekulame baller, jina, amelona, make trace, nekula lower. She ake mambin, Jeshia. Ni school yale na dump ya Abrikuma South. That I don't know of. Okay. And if that is the case, if you make institutions they must sit down. You see, there comes a time we will put aside politics and speak about realities. And one thing that we fail to do as citizens, we don't know who is responsible for what, and that is really creating a problem. Well, many is responsible for any many no money. Need to look where no aje mama aje MP, but the real people who are being paid every month to ensure certain things are done. Was sure na one million na make you na more na make one money. I think it is time that we educate the people and that we let them know who is responsible for what. Konika me here, not me flagging. I'm here to me because at the end of the day, people don't know they are responsible for this. It's only my veer off. She not fair, they can exercise name. Ni President John Dramani Mama, they can know one of the ways. Most of the flooding, excessively. She won't worry, fitai, phone, muji, bola, eji wo obon, wo one year war family. What clear if it take 2 days? And how 2 days? No for national cleanup exercise. The moment when I compare MCs, DCs, everybody, I'm a lazy, I'm a boot. Name na sani ame tune kenu tumone MC DCs ekename I sanitation officers I public health officers I assembly members the stakeholders responsible for the kenine. How have they prepared for this exercise? What did they put into it? You see, me at the point in time I got furious. First day baller now Kolomo. Second day I called the coordinating director. Kodi it will be negative for us. You see, they respected the president. They came out as Ghanaians, not NDC, not MPP. I deceit in our fair. I contract about cost to money. See, the people came out. Now, why is it that collection is a problem? Respond, in fact, as a reasonable human being, have to understand. Okay, they never expected huge baller. Okay, no, their expectation, the preparation I'm fear, I'm not getting baller. It does me. Now been a jumping side. We can't deny I see baller to all lie. No, I need if it me fail to move. It feels so no. I war can make my you that say man can be fair the banake here low at the point in time here chocolate and poor you watch on the back way honorable governor boy the MP have to step in when to dredge masters they come here fair arrangement special arrangement for tractors konaba because kaka me bola enye himate bana fe na look ya ekoda konika am tractors e baba na dan afemini na anya alu. No, everybody got it, but sometimes when issues come in, you'll be carried out by emotions. Because I was so annoyed, I get bored and say, she need trap. But they could be the moon yishmono, nage afi fushi, the nature of baller, the quantum of baller, not jigger the poet. But we were so much engulfed in baller. Never create a baller. No, it's time. I get presentable. This will not be a one day wonder. About when he get a day in every month about failing again national cleanup exercise. Need mafia turn up massively. If we do this continuously for 1 year and with education, or like I am many public now here, they should do education. I'm your mommy now because I will make any be. Nadmo, we also have a role. Make we feel like Nadmo, we are just there to come and give relief items. So, me, I am director for disaster risk reduction, and the function is go out there, talk to people. So, how are we educating people about readiness and preventive measures? The problems ni cholera ni hilaba another epidemic. No, it is education and people who are tasked to do certain things they must rise up to the task and do the needful. Because me, I don't care. I've told myself I am NDC, John Dramani Mamake, resetting Ghana. Now, if I find out that there is an institution who is supposed to do its work in Kahaga and this regime, we won't talk about it. I will seriously talk about it because the mindset is resetting Ghana. Let us change our mindset and our attitude towards work and be responsible for positions now. And I believe if we all go that tangent, Ghana obako ma papa go.
Shimina ke wo bote sanya Mr. Koimabu be no owi. Owi mom le ke ba hin. Be sanitation a feel mu. How different is it from what no try ke ba hin akpa fata here.
Ona ke with Nini Afio, there was no seriousness attached to it. With this one, there was seriousness attached to it. And then the law enforcing agencies say sometimes they are also not doing their work very well. Because I came fiamu ajepo ni etuni boko egbele shop. Oto ayo no alo ke shop no ke wo politician no no what o fa na memory. We are making the work difficult for people who are supposed to enforce the law. We, the politicians, we, the assembly members, we, the pastors, we, the traditional leaders, we use our positions again. Frustrated by high pressure. So when all this, because me, no ba, no fe, no keba, no fear, better come of it. A jagasani will fear what Jalani. No until they were fearing about Chuck and the Kawajamo. Ni mofia mona hallelujah mo ba nmelegbe na tu enutu ba we have a problem. No, can you take national issue? It take national dimension. When I get the army came out, the police came out, fire service came out, all the security services were involved. Unlike previously, ni akọ na efio to no le sub metros, ke district assemblies am efio no na ke enforcing it na ba fe na kan e beje. No, kawa any security forces say can be fair to put more fair on shegbe. And I can in about more shop. Many participate here. Harm letters. Same one, all of them. Ni Yeshua ke me baba over the memory. Me baba over the memory again if it no fair. Because esheko ni okay politics and mafa. Okay relationship ke ni be and mafa. No what drink Ghana. Me believe when we do that yes, why places.
Okay, Mr. Mama Sumanubam, Kakagbene, what would this jam?
Bongo, oh, you are done. The whenever I prefer to add a lot of decorum to how the discourse is going. Couldn't fit more when you make what you mean. I mean, I should know to buy. Keji Tabia, he could feel lack of knowledge, my people perish. And Keji Moko fail statement in a kind. You are taking it from angle. I get mini who won't hear anymore you on a kind. And I prefer to always look at the positive side of things. And I don't think I can just fair and I lack knowledge about anything because I spent time reading almost every government policy here. Lack of knowledge. I think the lack of knowledge my people perish here is the reason why our people are perishing because they lack knowledge about government policies, which politicians like himself fail to explain to the people. Because Bongo, Kemi Tabia in care akeshi in Bisani, ake me enye ni train the codes programming. You don't bring the question to me. Kemi won water beer, then there's no way for us to speak Ghana in the first place. Alomi Mali. What you are Ghana, Ejakeshi won Tawoni Ghana noya, ke Ghana nichumo, ke mankramoni beer, one mami make or papa menita se, afe mini. Anu she shows back, ke bongo mi mali ke momi. No, you are what man you more Ghana, over no she shows back. You can be akeshi. How many? What is the data? The data is not for me. Because can be for me, I have the data. I can consume it. You are not doing justice to the people. Then there's no point for you to come and sit here in the first place. That's number one. Then you know what? Google no search over 134G or quote figure has been trained. No, those are not the people trained. It's false. I can show over 130 something people have been trained. It's 138.7 people that have been, brought on the portal yet to be trained. KG Oba, that is, I'm on the 1 million coded site. I said, registered. The word registered. Nicole trained there. It is the number 42,000.
41.9K. That's what I
penny are training. And what Bongo, if Kemi Tabia and Mimbi Buakeshin, what is the statistics say? It is for the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian.
No asking.
Please, no. You see, anytime we want to come and do politics, because I believe Akeshin, you see, anytime you have that political communicators on the seat there, whenever you ask a question, please, you see the statement.
Anytime care about programming, keji no kunakanyano, akemba. Agbonani mambi aleake 1, 2, 3 G many HR training name low.
Let me take the sentence by sentence. But he was accusing if you to agani ni me come pen
over don't misquote me, please don't misquote me. Please don't misquote me. I said my rights and I know what I said. So please don't misquote me. Don't misquote me. You've had your time. Can I speak? Please, you've had your time.
In the name of I will not allow you to go that time.
Okay.
I know where he was.
No, you choose to say things to me and you will not allow someone. Why do you control my speech? No, that's what you will not allow me. You said what you said. So you said what you said.
I will not allow you to sit down and create in the people, in the minds of the people. I see
Ghanaians are watching you. They are seeing what
they know what is going on.
They see what
I know where you are going. That is why I came in Kelagashi. I registered me again. I training again information. She asked me that as we speak, I told many pass out. Those many pass out 41.9K, approximately 42K. People are still being trained. The process is that I make one 3 months, make one 6 months. No, feel. No, you have the information. You tell the people that you it is wrong.
You can choose to believe
and
say what you want to say.
Okay. No, you can't tell me who allow you. I'm telling you, I want.
You can't tell me.
I'm telling you,
control me. I am giving you the utmost respect. You are the one sitting here.
It is your decision. I attach here be over faith to I'm a neutral. You are
what is he talking about? Let me let you know. Me, I don't sit here to do bootlicking.
Now who is doing
first over the Can I make my point?
Can blame no.
Well, me no one is saying that still allow person to project.
Me brown no me one we can no mfokpan. No ane gbe na ye keke wo kwa jaje mo ka wo forward to won o fa.
That is political communication. When someone is speaking, you make your point. Please, Mr. Please. You are a big man. Please. I don't want to say something that will be like I'm trying to disrespect you. Please. I will not go to that level. I will not go there. Don't tell me it's my character. You don't know me from Adam. So please. You don't know me from Adam. So don't say certain things like that. Don't give me a tangent to follow. It will not be right for our respect yourself. Respect yourself.
You can't tell me you respect yourself.
You are diabolical. You don't mean of diabolical. If you say someone is being diabolical, you are the one being mischievous and diabolical here. Because you are just disrespecting yourself in front of Ghanaians. Calm down. Whatever you are doing, I will not understand that. It's not your political party. Bongo, what I meant and what I believe good people of Ghana, I'm a Bomitweni, I'm a Nuji. Keji Watati even on you. What I'm saying is we need to put the figures out there. We need to speak to the issues out there. Koni many nkwewana keshoki. Tombena ayuake afe training na yebie. E wo bi ane me ne kan abona training. Nimi yue ni quoting figures here. Someone has a problem with me not quoting the figures. But when you are calling all Ghanaians, they should go and register for the program. You didn't also quote the figures as it stands now from the beginning. This is what has been done. So this is it. When you are no, are we saying, and these are my words, that is a thing being done secretly, or are we training the people or our political foot soldiers? Is that what the issue is? No. Then when we are telling the people, I can go and do this, okay, you mentioned the place that the thing is being done. You're not feel near you. Fine. How many people are supposed to go there at that point? And I gave an example, in just suppose the educational system, we will train a lot of people, but at the end of the day, no too money me ba fame ba come share the number of graduates that we always get in UA na kind e what keji won US ani eke wo ma me be what care ma ke okay, this is the statistics. What I was expecting in your rebuttal argument, what you are saying here, this is the number, this is it. But the moment you come out to attack as if I am rather attacking you, that is not the point I'm trying to make. The point I am trying to make, Jakeshi, whenever we are communicating, let's communicate clearly, and that is why the Watabi or yoga. Koni ima mi ke papa nita se ke bi nu ake oko ate ake afe no ko ye bie me ne ken fine fine ken wo ya ne ken gbe no ya fe kule bo ba na mini the slot e wo bongo ona ake shi injue no ko na ka ake shi ake figure say wo ma mi nko he will not come back to see ake shi kule. This is the number that has been trained. This is what has been done over only you on kind. But even you taking the opportunity to give out the numbers out there, you went on a tangent of rather attacking me, giving me a political color and calling me diabolical and telling me that I lack knowledge. But I never, for once, insinuated that I am disrespecting you or disrespecting your party. It was a quote I made, Akeshi. Are we trying to see, Akeshi, because we don't tell the people whatever goes into it, are we doing it for our party people? Bongo no your money ojoba. If not, that's not the issue. Then what make you sure action? Keji one you we should give credible how to call explanation. Konu wa fen me one ushishi. Bongo, and I stated this again, and I'm saying it again. It's a national what policy or a national program. It's not only for people in Accra. How well do we make sure I can let Nekole, he doesn't have TV signal and all that there. He gets to what? No. That is why we have local government people and all that. So it is their duty that anytime they get the opportunity to sit on a local TV station or something, they give enough meaning, information about the policy or the program. Koni Ghanaian say fair meaning. Anoshishi. Neka faith, but only the program is centered in what? The how do we call it? The urban areas. This is the point that I was trying to put across. It was the moment someone also gets the opportunity to explain it. Okay, in a good will. This is my first time being here. Whenever someone makes an argument that you are not good with it, that is why it's a political discourse. You rebut. Are you get what I'm saying? What rebut has always to be with decorum. And I said, okay, I will make sure every Yemonima you are, I'll add a level of decorum. Because I haven't met you before, and obviously seeing you, I know you are a reputable man. So I would never disregard or say anything offensive to you. Because one day, and I do not know, one day, I don't know where you and I are part to cross again. But for the first time, if we sit on telly, and the first chance you get, you attack my personality, you call me diabolical, you call me that I don't have knowledge, you call me that I don't know anything, and you expose me with those kind of things, it doesn't send a good signal with someone watching us. No. So my intent is not to attack a political party. Bongo, how many times in interview and you praise how do you call it, the NDC party? Anytime you bring NDC people here, what do they say? Don't they say I'm an NDC person and I just don't want to let people know? Bongo, who do you know that my father is in the NDC? That today, if I am sitting here and if he is watching me right now, for someone to call me that he knows where I'm going and then he will expose me. Master, I am saying it again. The party that we all think that we are part of, and because of that, the least chance we get, we attack people that they belong to the opposition. All of us are part of the party before. We contributed to the success of this party. But the fact that I am not speaking in favor of your political party doesn't mean that I don't have a sense of discernment to know things. Bongo, and I'm saying this categorically. If we are going to have a program that someone will leave the issue at hand, never attack someone else's personality, then it means you are trying to bring the thing so low. No matter the age of the person that you are on the set with, you are giving the person the chance to disrespect. And I will never do that. So please, let's add a level of decorum and respect for each other and the people that are watching us.
You see, let us be truthful to ourselves. I raised a good topic. Me, you record the issue. Not because it was a topic for discussion, but I used the opportunity to let people know again something is going on. Your mafia money, go here, you should still go there. It is not a topic of discussion. No, I just use every least opportunity I get anywhere, any platform. I educate people. There is this going on. Take advantage. Yes, no, you want him to repeat what he has been saying. In his submission, he did mention as if I get near enough a particular group of people in his submission of Amagbena. No, really fading me bullet to a fan. Intention by lack of knowledge, my people perish. In Kabakele, the Remona is biblical. Bible and a jail. She if you don't have information, you sometimes will not be able to function as you are supposed to. The people letting bear information on that one, won't they affect them? No, the lack of knowledge my people perish is not for you, but it is for all of us. Because truly speaking, it is very philosophical. Okay, call you be any of Anashka. No, ya je obanaska patamalo hamubaboje. No, lack of knowledge my people perish. It's not an insult. I'm not insulting anybody, but I want you to know that if somebody don't have information to perish. A perish again a bonoxy information data alone no data no lack of knowledge my people perish was not referring to you personally no but I lack knowledge. I haven't said that.
Okay really you be no share o wa bia ke be kenya hie ke wo kwanu tume wo tun keje sekemba wo che John Dramani Mahama lead ne ha a check me na tashini akwabon ba feni na kenugbo ke sramoni ke na gbaba ogbono se ba fo bia na ke chono fe no na afie me na ekwu ehwe ni kenya hie ke no ehwe shin oba na wo hojugba.
Is he seriously speaking here? To many John Dramani Mahama here. Okay, some of the issues here they are man-made. And on a directive ni HS Soja Fui koni clear all buildings waterway ke even wetlands ka ke wetlands on a get natural ni mo egbe wa sipon ekomeni naturally ni mo fe design ni scientifically absorb on kanu kwa nu ataje they reduce all the fuel it have a scientific benefit. Wa bia ke numo science master ni lo eja ke te fete ne le ake numanye ne ni ke ne ekole ni enye absorb ni lu fe ataje ni prevent me the flooding me na mi ni wona water wetlands ni kanu mono ne ata me na egbomu adisa ahi ewo no concrete achichi amamo anju amamo ni bi no more care ne he ba ata naturally ni lenche ba ya fi e beje no care na ba mi ne ba fi e ba ko ise no wo denche wo hu we are factor she again no no ba fi ase no I permit no if you eko wa ke the law enforcing agencies say are they really working then mo ko ya amati ye wetland ni ana ga bia ne is wetland nesa na amaju need no effect ecological effect there. Why do you permit the person to go and put up a structure there? Nobody told you again no any political party go feel money feel ni Friday keba ele NDC ele MPP ele PNC ele moko. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Agbene tu on ka ba akomo e ke to problem many ba lomo e to mi an feleke me president to wa be me ko mo fe politics ye bi me en support of president here ake he fia ne sana ma tuye akomo bona how do you call it bien no share
yengwe
matters sakama da bi no able myself matters ball ake we dumping sites many affiliates all now develop community here aye ni assign na ke ball abaya aye na assign na ba fefe ni bi me ko me take opposition na ho ne kam ade ni bi na efe ahon e ke me ba ko be e ba to problem be ba to na agba mene ya abreku myself ka ke ngbe ni woye na dump site na ke ball aka ni bi e to problem because she won't government she won't assign for like any benefit ahon no me nkometo we ni na ahon she won't ahon ye na sani aye maka ke bia ni akba fe ni government no ni moko e ba hon akumu fi ko ni wana to enjoy ake agbene where apart from wetlands where waterways ni loji wo drain systems keneke madini bi agbonafe ni nuwe ke ne a design ni nuwe enye atoto eni ubana moko ya ma container moko eta echino efe concrete efe neke alolo ebola odenje wojogbe ke mo ne e ka alo bola ka achi awomi e jage meni yo abubo ya bi na me lo oni bi ke bi efe amebe ko na pa ka wa ba ko so no mankami ni mo fi amewo e ka achi esu go ta shi question eji check e wo ye men ni apio ameke nyombo ke mi ke busika ni wo tuni ne towo check apio na ka me na me tuni na ka me ingba ameyo. That is my question. Until the institutions who are responsible to ensure that there is law and order, until I'm a dedicated, we are working for Mother Ghana, oba we be oba back to square one because nothing is going on. Well, chokoni ami kuma share na aji kuma ball line na aji wa be get why ene me fe o sate lo no me president is do everything possible koni ne get flag ne ke ba e ka ba bia na ne get wo drain systems ko te kolebu me we able south because in Ablekuma South the large majority of many OBL they want us to talk about Ablekuma South because no I can't be talking about elsewhere. No, come here example I use Ablekuma South. Simple Kolebu say what let's say Plaza you know there ni kaje ke ya simple ke ya kemba obi o akucho de mi no kaje mu ne feel no je me flag what they know you know the issue ake Kolebu do mi tutu e ni mo ke ni etu onta na ko ke ya an ke ya akole she free pom boati ni mamoi tujia nurses ke doctor say ni divert the natural way na fe without consultation ni eganu eto kokoro na mamo etuwe ke de bi na mamo na ga tuwe ke ni mo na fi onu eto flag ake ni eba fe gata le una sani eganu aya ne eganu mo ku ese ke mama mi mambi etishi na lo shia ke concrete ke china kan gata una fi no nu mo sofi ono me atuji ni fe nagbo what they wa akwe or report because John Dramani mama chu me keje Jubilee House ton keba koni ne ke maje ni bibi ne na akwe ka chombo chikana ba afite na ba afi na kaniye e bezi no bi amini me ba afi na kaniye ami abi permit engineer say beje na ba ka gashi because of any kene e ba cause the problem mo fia mo church the flow no fia na esumo keke and that is what is creating all these things no about faith mama ba ke beje to baba government will come by the individuals who are can positions to ensure the right thing because the president there will not be everywhere no can what two one two more who have a problem you say any money bani it will not matter ni min tuni ni min kem ko aga mo ga mi ni nadu ni bakoda any no mi ni no no na go tele can you imagine this because if you like that is not the normal teji abanga imbe ni gada bi te fiote bo shia gada ni kashi no choni tonje wo shia gada na fi olo shia wo gada bi I don't get it ni je gana yo hu jibu ni mambi mba mi we mambi e mo na se na be support me America mi ni wo na wo inu agaje wo ntele can you imagine this no it is up to us no job the money mama care when we change our attitude I think that will go forward
nakan ni be pfn undamo wosuke wo ban aka ba chi bola ke kukumam shikeji ate abafen all boils down to the environment o man be Mr. Moyaga keji ekwe boni ni bi yale han many protect our environment as a policy say I implement lojugba akentuni ni jigbeje no to ke kukumam Mr. Mayor eni ehye wo fe no no oba fe shin keji wonye ni institutions ni amesaka meko environment no ambarka menajima ma mo shojugba henu odumo afun ba maje no
so if feel like he attack a personality no I'm sorry but I have never attacked people personality that one they out of coverage area okay he feel offended they feel like that is not my stand so I apologize he feel offended he attack a personality that is not my stand
okay Mr. Mayor kaji ate aba won to boni we ba dwell on many core environment ko policies can be kru ko me amembo ame wo modern ni henu wo share kan ya hie wonan noku ne kedon
bongo you ado danima you enke nyami nu we mo ne you benin jenshine you aga kaji we are having a conversation, it's a political discourse. There's something that we call like we agree to disagree. That is why ni hamo fiamo demo kendile ni ehawo free will. Even in the Bible, God gave Adam and Eve free will, and that's why they were able to choose what they choose. And this the end that we are having. It was the fact that we are sitting on telly, the fact that we are seeing Ghanaians, we have diverse opinion. That's why everyone chooses what they want to do. He chose to wear what he's wearing, and I chose this. So whenever we are having a discourse, the fact that I'm not, agreeing with you, doesn't mean we are fighting. We should just learn how to put our words right, so that the people will just appreciate what we are understanding. Bongo, coming back to your question, it's not about policy problem, and we know. Policy problem, is it a new thing, like as anywhere a parliament in why not new laws to fight against the things that we are doing right now? Bongo, Ramsar sites, the benefits of those Ramsar sites, Ramsar sites serves as like the kidney, or kidney filter, or systems can be here. That's what Ramsar sites are. Ramsar sites say if there's a Ramsar site, then no beno ni amako noko yenoni it cause flood in name. Excessively. What Ramsar site does is egbla noe kata jeme. Ramsar sites also serves as water doesn't heat up like that, but rather it helps in carbon storation, cooling temperature in the atmosphere and all that. It also preserves biodiversity. The benefits of Ramsar sites, we all know at least, and that's why the government is fighting so hard. Couldn't protect it. Now, coming back to policy issue, we have the Environmental Protection Agency. We have a Ramsar Convention obligations and local government planning laws that stipulates clearly how we should treat our Ramsar sites, how people are supposed to build, and where they are not supposed to build. But Bongo Sani a bit more no Jiakishi. Mini one dane ni afi otomo keji ayamata dan afi otomo asani aya the noko ba asana tawo na mu ke ha aba ke o ye na ma tune ke machine je correct ni what communication. But the question is mono ya akuma adwuma question e ba na the person will go and bring out a permit na ke nchon bo akeshin ye na ma tune ye na ke na ho le na ke na hala igbe sai na ba bi jake na money issue na kan permit Bongo, Onushishi. What tabia, and I'll use Chado for instance. How many times have you demolition a Chado? But here you after demolition at 6 months later, when you go there, the same kind of developments are happening. Bongo no issue. The Kaji after demolition at we hear either the regional minister or the MCE of that area, Alo Mokobaka Keshin, we are going to make sure we deploy security people to take care of the place. But after 6 months later, a year later, and the place gets flooded there, you get to say after demolition. And these same people will come and tell us we are issuing this again, one thing again. The question is, how well, even we as leaders who have been given the mandate to protect our environment, how well are we doing with that? And also, not many make or sure whenever we are issuing our permits, the permits are going to places that are needed. We all know actually rapid urbanization is going on. That is why we have planning, we have development planning. I hear now the market can name government lands here. You can use it for this. You cannot use this for this place. But how come I can see the waterway say morning most of the time say we allow people to sell and give to us. Now when I call we are mature at now but call back no mature it's not allowed. Then your hard work is gone. Well, I'm not saying okay people building waterways now demolish it's a bad thing. No. But must we wait so the development is done before we go and do demolition? That's the question that we need to ask. The question is, the Environmental Protection Agency is their duty only to conserve our water, forest reserves? Because most of the times when you hear them talking, or most of the times when I've heard them on the news, it's more about the encroachment on our forest areas and all those things. The Ramsar sites are also part of our environment. What is their tenet and their obligation to make sure our Ramsar sites are safe from encroachment and unnecessary developments? Then again, we come to the Ramsar Convention and obligations. What does it state out clearly, and who is responsible? Like a Ramsar Convention obligations say, will make sure and you know it's under UNESCO. All these Ramsar sites, you know it's under the UNESCO conventions. These places are no-go areas. They are natural places that are supposed to let clean from anything. But who is making sure I can place it? As UNESCO is saying, as Ramsar obligation is saying, no one is going to those places. Bongo Dane Yuake, Kenokuba, we allow the thing to happen. That we all rush back and see Akishoki, and then we start to point fingers. There might be an there might be a politician saying no, it's about time we move away from that accusatory fingers. Like politicians are not doing well, the people are not doing well. But we know no feeling okay much. Is it the best thing to do in your opinion? And those of the people that sit at the offices issuing out the permits. No, you think today you are thinking about your stomach. Imagine no issue permits be ake mama etu na shika bo ama otu ye ko ni mo ne je Ramsar site penny flood le shekule bo ohia woni ohe that money to go and build any flood. Now the government has allocated funds that could have been used for better things now to go and fix those challenges. Bona we take one step forward and 2 steps backwards. And if you are to modern, in as much as most of the times our politicians do not give us their best, we the people to contribute a lot to the worst that we are getting. So we always get leadership of mediocrity and then we celebrate. Because we ourselves as citizens say, that's what we settle for. The question I'm asking this morning is, what are the environmental laws saying? What is the Ramsar Convention obligations saying? What is our Environmental Protection Agency law saying? And what is the local government planning laws saying about urbanization, saying about construction and development in our waterways? If we get people answering these questions for us, then we get to know, okay, we don't have a policy problem, but we have implementation problem, and that has been the headache of this country since Adam. And the moment we can all come together as Ghanaians and hold people accountable and make sure that we implement the laws to the latter, these things we can do away with.
No, okay, Sunday now, she woke up at our one year only now Facebook at a machine media.
We must get these 2 things right. There are differences between wetlands and Ramsar sites. Even though all Ramsar sites are wetlands, but not all wetlands are Ramsar sites. Now, Ghana, we have 6 major Ramsar sites. Ghana, the whole Ghana, where 6. Which is internationally agreed upon again. See the wetlands, that is what it's closer to us. That is where people are really putting the up structures. With the Dansoma, the Helkome, the Glefe Helkome, you know, again, they are wetlands. That is what is causing more problems. Ramsar site say the Ghana 6 people, Sakumono, Eyemi. Koteketa, Ekoyemi. The whole Ghana only 6. But what I'm saying is that the wetlands, Mokoyani is ignorant. Now I want to go hale. Dene I go alone akele aje nyumo eneko. Hunu biami. Elebeni jeme yo. Akele the person ni honi hale did not act in good faith. Or ete dem yana. The onus lies on someone. Boko. The government take a level change purposely to do a work. More ni AI for somebody must do that thing. Court no have a permit. No amateur no HPO. You also refuse to do the lawful thing. Okay, go to the assembly. Let the assembly take you through. No ISPON, no hey, no and the assembly. All design no can be fair and no get approve. No get and the advice was a BN and get the guess anama. To many water shian or backwe. So somebody is failing to do his work. Until we identify who is not doing what he's supposed to do. Who are we? Somebody need to call the shots. That is that we have to identify that person and let the person know okay, you are failing to do your work and get the person fired. That is where we have gotten to, and that is what we have to do. No tomorrow card to Sally. Now fake in a person I say, hello, Paul like a man fair. Ni one sanitation officer ni there. Traffic na here could be for a cafe the school to come. The guy can school to work at Derby. kani aba ni wole ni gbeja ke ma sha bola kani biye ni wa ka so call ye na ko ni ke to ni agbo aba at least we jie ye ma de ke eneche efi chilewe yen plan no be no sometimes ka won fe ni e wo use wo jomo everybody does what he or she likes e she ko ni ke o fe ni asa na o fe no fe ye okay politics are my fa what Jim again will look out for competent people who can deliver on the job. Go off in a guy that's what maybe believe like military rule is the best. That is why. Because can military run this time check by po and you go feel like about you to him. Allo about fable no what who na jeme she what denche me down you are we fear of die. Politicians die. Both die. We are the problem of this country.
Okay. Mr. Montoma bine kesane ke wokwe wajie to wetland se ni a chaki bone shi kama yo ke misa site ke krokume wosuke wo ban to mo achi bola ke ni bi ke wo gata sa mine the use of plastic aso be she ni wokwe bono ba reduce beni ni chon woni fe mo egbe na kan gbe fangba lo be she ni sa ka amla lo ke na ni machine ni plastic akwa egbe ko no ni ka ba ban nju boni sa ka fe kuni nege enagbane ka ba
me in support the aga
mi za ba mba ke
in support the aga ban the plastic and aga be easy when the institutions are working everything will be in place you won't watch ake wo jomo everything inu ni ne ile ake ni ne esa anya ake wo gotan me was na ke wo gotan equally the effect I form a system me ni ba higher education. Do they have the necessary requirement to do which one become education? Why you should not throw like a money be? We are paying them. God, civil education. They don't have vans. I'm a burning to go and do education. So no money by allocate fund. Jewo, can get war. I get government is for the people. No government there, and they the importance of it. We should identify problems. Can we identify problems? One empower institutions. Ni institutions are to me amele. Let court here. Ya ko school da. Ne ba akedeke. No that we should need a fair education. Ana me na few. No one in the lack of knowledge. My people perish. They don't know it. So you give them the information, you educate them, you train them continuously. People will come to know the essence of what you are saying here. You will be checking. No, okay, what fair na kai oba me banding is not a problem. Problem is let us educate. Education is key.
Okay. Zamaya, reducing the use of plastics ke krokume. Education net the media should be up and doing with education. Also, media override Environmental Protection Agency, civic education be MMDAD Koni Amametune Kenuchumone.
Bongo, education, we all have a role to play in national building, in the nation building, as we all put it. Keji wake one to machine, Omashi TV. That's why every private entity I know actually corporate social responsibility. No kono ba fe as out of goodwill in service of the people that are quote unquote making you rich or generating revenue for you. One way or the other, yes. In as much as the media cannot overshadow or override the responsibility of the EPA and the NCC and other governmental agencies, all of us, even the media houses, have a role to play. And I see some of the media houses, as their adverts, they will just do a cartoon of how to keep rubber, segregate waste and all that. It's all part of the education that we are talking about. Because this traditional media, it goes far. Over no shishuma. Or lela keke afe or local and logan mi pon afe cartoon yo match TV ni ko join keke obi e be ke mi tase ni le la ke se kule na ba ke la keke ni wonye ke bola ya wo gota mi ke ko TV yo match TV ni na ka awe gan ni na anu shishan lo le be ke woni ni na ke la ke wono ka wo gota mi ke ni mo ne ba ga ke da bi ni ko match TV na ke so part of education. Now the question is keji the private entities are doing theirs, what is the role of the government or the local government authority? Now, and Bongo, I always say this thing, okay? I've always been a believer that the collapsing of the Ministry of Sanitation was not in the interest of Ghana. And I've given you reasons. Today is not the first time I'm saying this, so I'm not going to go into details. Because we know we are bedeviled with challenges when it comes to sanitation. The fact that a scandal rocked a ministry and a person that was supposed to be held accountable wasn't held that accountable, as we all know, quote unquote, well, doesn't mean like an entire ministry that is designated for handling one of the major problems in Ghana should be brought down entirely. But you know, the government knows best. Well, we are still in it. Now, the issue is it necessary to ban plastics or not? Bongo, I'll take it both ways. The question of Abiake, after banning plastics, we still have a lot of plastics to deal with. How do we take care of that? My brother mentioned, okay, whenever we are doing planning, we designate an area to what? Collect rubbish or all that. Since we have areas designated to collect rubbish and keep, why don't we turn those areas into recycling plants for every district in this country? In Kiabo from the onset, okay, Rwanda has banned plastics. The fact that they have been able to move away from plastics doesn't mean automatically Ghana can do the same. Because even if it becomes a policy that it needs to go for parliament for approval and all that, you will get to know the bottlenecks. Because you get to know a lot of business people or politicians or party sponsors who are into this business. And then you know party financiers, of course they will fight against it. I remember His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's first administration, he made an attempt like that. But it couldn't succeed because there's a lot of things that goes into banning entire plastic totally. It means you're not going to have water like this on your table. The issue is, how do you make sure that you replace something that can contain the water like this if you want? So there's a lot of nitty-gritties that goes into a policy. So it's not something that you just get up and do. So the ban is something that needs to critically look at before, if you want to consider, we consider. Now that we have ban plastics, the question is, how do we curtail the plastics from ending up in our drains? We've spoken about education. After we educate, it depends on Mambie. They will stick to the education and not do that. Now, let's take it Mambie in Kebotule wo gata alone chepi or taroba. Now they keep it in their houses, and then the waste people come for them. What is the waste people going to do with it? Where I copy was saying, no. Now you and I can see it's overwhelmed, true or false. Because you go there, you see some of the tricycles in queues and all that, waiting for their turn to go and dump the refuse. This should tell you, Akeshi, the facility is overstretched. It is full to capacity. And we saw what it was doing, turning some of our waste to manure, turning some of the waste to plastic bowls, chairs and all that, and then it goes back to our households. This should tell us, Akeshi, creating a dumping site is not the ultimate solution, because the rapid urbanization is going on, and the moment you create a dumping site, people will encroach out to the point that we have some in this country, and we see how they suffer from cholera and all the related diseases that comes with environmental hazard. I just wish that it gets a day in Ghana that we have a lot of recycling plants around, that the issue of plastic is no longer an issue. Doesn't the United States use plastic? They use rubber. Are you getting it? What are they doing so right? I'm not saying it's a perfect situation. Of course, they have their downside. You go to areas that they are rubbish and all that. But it is not as messy as we have in Ghana because they have the facilities to manage. What can we do to replicate and make sure that if we are not banning plastics or polyethylene, after you say it is going to a different phase and it is coming back as a new product that can be reused in our households? These are the policy lines that we need to think around. It is not just only about building structure, because if you are able to even build affordable housing for the people that are going to live there are going to produce waste. So after doing the urbanization or doing infrastructure for the people, we need to think, how do we curtail the waste that comes from such infrastructure? And that is where I stand for recycling. If we are not talking about banning now, we should talk about recycling now. How many plants can we put up? These are the urgent things that we need. And this is what I was expecting the sanitation ministry then to think about, not to dump over $300 million into an odor dredging. And I'm seeing this for the previous government. We are able to go and dump a lot of money in the name of dredging odor so that when it rains, it won't flood. But we don't think that even that same amount of money can build a facility that can recycle the waste. And if you are recycling waste, bongo, no shake, you're also creating employment because it is people that will go and work there. Let's take for instance, like build a recycling plant. No, come of money bottle 1,000 pieces like baba equal for recycling over 100 cities. Bongo, we started this initiative where people collect pure water sachet, and you saw how people were making livelihoods. Mokonuchi no krani. Most of us that were living in compound house by then, you see some of your landladies and landlords and and you people were packing them, and we saw these people come and buy them and not they exchange their rubbish for what? Money. Bongo, let's say we are doing same for bottled water, like some other countries do. I can call 1,000 pieces back for recycling about 100 cities. Bongo, it's a straight livelihood because the recycling that you are going to do, you also need to find a way every end product that you turn it to should be something that you are going to mean over home. Can I say? The bongo care vacation, even plastic can be used for how to call it this plastic bricks for our alleys and then our pathways. Other countries are doing it. We call recycle waste. Bricks no we are going to make sure we produce hard bricks made from plastics and rubber. Bongo. Do we think we'll have a rough road in Ghana here? Rocky? No. Because we are turning our waste to something useful. These are the policy lines that the continuous government should think about. But what can fail tomorrow? Because we want to make sure that maybe we score political points or to win the goodwill of the people there. Sometimes some of the policy lines are not really thought through like that. And I always say, the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs is overwhelmed. So tackling sanitation is something that they cannot do alone. And I know the government has charged other ministries to take care of that. But bongo, the ministry that is in charge of sanitation, you and I know, is the Ministry of Local Government. Minimally. So if one ministry is taking care of 3 arms, how then do we overwhelm it again with sanitation? So I say again, and I always stick to it, the immediate collapse of that Ministry of Sanitation wasn't work. What I was expecting the president to do was to improve it and make sure like to be a 24-hour economy, even our waste sector, we can work around the clock like that, making sure every waste that is being collected to be not fake cleaning can go there. People working around the country to make sure what can be recycled. Our farmers still need manure. What can be used for manure can be used for manure. The excessive importation of fertilizer, if we have enough recycling plants in this country, which some are turning our waste products into manure, organic manure, which can be used by our farmers. Bongo, think about the end cycle from waste alone. And I always feel waste is very profitable if we manage it well. So banning is an option, but for now we cannot do that. So since let's look to recycling and see how best we can help this country with it.
Okay. I'll go back.
Yeah, it's at the latter part, I know sanitation now is under local cabinet. It says John Dramani Mama before the Baba Power. When I was the we have so many ministers and deputies. So we have to cut down because we only require Shika Fitemo. What are the functions of a local government? Local government, when we understand the meaning and the functions and their duties of a local government, then you will see having a sanitation minister is a duplication of work, because sanitation they all fall under local governance. There are structures. It is not the local government minister alone like do too much in one place, but it is down to the assembly. The assembly member is the last person at the local level, called a local governance. That is assembly member. It starts from there. No assembly member, all boils down to sanitation. No, like I keep on saying, if all institutions, Mofia money are assigned, he really understands his functions and duties and responsibilities. We will not be talking all the time. Sanitation is started here. Assembly member, as assembly member, me no afi. Kaje sanitation, me no. As a local government, no assembly member always say they have no a unit committee, because assembly member alone, no let committee. See, the framers of the constitution, I'm doing why. Attach one day no na there are reasons for everything. No the committee be most of the time I say me say there is reason because no aja bo bi egba okwa bie we ensure sanitation starts from that kemoya no jamele na je niele no fite kodoko but government tell them was an face sure ni ni bi ajaje kebuko town efe factory ni town efe recycling asani it is too expensive no one ake any that is where the government will also have to come in. I guess anyone who want to do recycling, we have this offer for you. Duties can be as I don't pay, can be a one channel because it is a need for us. That is where government there will also have to look at investors because government there will have investor there have a electricity bill any money pay. Yes, money pay. Came for me transportation. ABB the getting be never mini taxes in my pay. Any came for any motivation, but the government there na ke ne keni ne ka wo fie ne ba wa pay. That is where you also come in. Engineer the call afin engineer and if you attractive ya me ko ni yeshka na ba yi. No, it's come go individuals say we have a and we must you see. The problem we have in this country most of the time that we don't know duties and responsibility for various sectors. When people know the president MP, no president, no fiano, president MP.
No, go in the education. No more money sake enye kwekune ya lojuba. Edisen ke
we are getting civil education be I'm a logistics. I'm a Benny Bin I engaged them last one day. I went to one of the offices and get Masa, why is it that road FT road MP school to everyone get me we're road minister, we're education minister. We have people who have been assigned purposely for this. So why are you not doing that? Educating, going around. Don't wait for election time. This is what you have to be doing education. Where are the resources? No, okay, MP second me come we na me aba ameshka. Okay, mugo MP ba abushka. I get to money le tomorrow afina kani. The government should look at certain institutions and put in money for them to work. You see, you identify the problem and then put in money, use the money because at the long run it will come and help us, the whole country. See, no, I pay every month. Every month I pay. I'm back by Sanya the banana bashia. I'm back by Sanya the banana bashia. Before I came to Nadu, that would be a thing. About Tashi to Shabak Basanya. Why? I'm many disaster abba. No get disaster back where now getting baba na aja be no go ya. That is not what the law lion do. We must go and educate people, marketplaces, house to house. See, Atashi, who is to enforce that? Call me Ofero Kucho. Me no wo government to wo tele. So until ni came my ni bile ba chake. Me na get problem say wo fe wo local government bomoni tomorrow no assembly member bomoni tomorrow no DC bomoni tomorrow no where some metro director where some metro chairman some metro director me je tumo ball a year o chami me no tumoni some metro director le responsibility o le okay maybe you are bi abido ko find up where mayor jile etuni sini MP ni don't go again why education beja alo because as a mayor you have that mandate developmental issues but a coach sanitation can be bo mayor odu tu money no ba na ko find up tu she MP na ka wala ga ngole je odu tu money And yeah, I come to one day. You don't have that power. Mokonuchu money. Mokone has signed Shikara like this is the money, use it for this. She will tell me PA Wale. Education. No, you have a role to play.
Okay.
She will be like Kebo she knew Frina Kanye died, but now I pay electricity. Over can now I pay able. No still the government should Ministry of Information. In the way again here. You identify the every metro director academy. They must know again called by locality here. These are gas speaking TV station. So they must make allocation of fund. Okay, we want you to be talking about this because this is a private institution. If I pay workers, if I pay electricity bill, water bill, can pay about na so wo ba feel wo ba find me turn because car fi advert free. No, okay, free. Now charge you 10 cities. Say, oh, for one, you work 5 cities. Then 1 year here. Until no about failure, many know the back. Okay, about you go feel no sacrifice in your war. No mind, woman. She can't make a so high. Let the money go down. Identify TV station. They have a role to play. So we are giving you nephew advert to mobile here. Me that the Leebi to the she called for advert. Leebi to the no use the now electricity bill. Aloaka pay. How do you survive?
Ojugba, how do you survive? Sani now. She feels like education is key. No when you washing your certain kokoko. My being chame ya kuku bien to FB or believe ban we kwelo yake menjino namba wake. Aso keje 1952 ni wache Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology magana shipone no. Aso FSC na mo ha wolo jake we joma na me we amanse wakase technology ke kokume ba wa ma. Ochi hini ke we mo ko for shake je degree so J degree sana kwa boni ba afa keji ajikwa ba abagbele nu chume ke kokume Mr. Mayor keji okwa boni bi ala so obani waka ke Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology ba se na mo when it comes to neke jouer mo ene ekume
bongo you adon keji owa you neke sanine kegle ma bi akechi is this the first time ni we must move beyond how do you call it, just who about graduate degree holders, she will graduate innovators and then maybe employers or whatever. About no give you money. And if you look at KNUSC for instance, since the establishment of the university, what has been one of the most tangible things that they've created that it seems like I don't know. So maybe someone can help us understand. That we feel and we believe has contributed to national development in some way. Something innovative, something very critical that is okay. This was done by the University of how do you call it, Kwame Nkrumah, and then it's one way or the other helping in solving this issue in this country. Because you go to some of the universities around the world, and if you look at some of the software technologies and other things, it was designed and developed by some of the universities. And it's helping in the national affairs of that specific country. But Bongo care about BA since time of old there, we have been critical. The last time I was listening to the former Minister of Education on a podcast, and I was saying he brought about STEM education because when he came to office, he said this and that, and was talking about some of the things that he has done and all that. And then the host asked a tangible question, so are you trying to say Kule, most of these problems that we face as a country is as a result of the ordinary Ghanaians or Ghanaians in the Oh, that's not the case. But for me, my interest is the question that the host posed to him. Because if you anytime any political party is out of government, they make so much sense. Ghana problems fair born and only each one. She can't have me benape, but if you are no. So when I was listening to the interview going on, I just felt like the person was just touting his achievements or what he thinks he has done for the people. But the question still begs, every year, Ghana institutions, universities, including how do you call it, masters and PhD, whatever, we graduate over 110,000 universities graduates every year, every single year. Bongo. The University of Ghana alone, from over 15 to almost 17,000 every year. I schooled at the University of Ghana. Bongo, name some of the courses that you go and study. What does it really relate to? And I'll give you a typical example. I studied political science. I did governance and leadership. Over Nushinakai. Bongo, over you are studying political science. Does it give you a straightforward job when you come out of the university? No, it doesn't. Now, this brings us back to what the individual, and this is why I'm taking my tangent from the individual, the person himself going to the university. Then you are, it is only, quote unquote, a fool that will only see a fire and put his hand in the fire just to determine whether it burns or not. We've had many instances, at least unemployed graduates meaning association, right or wrong. It wasn't even me at school. There's an association like that. That association exists. It means the jobs available cannot service the number of graduates that we have. It was me at school. As an man make sure that I can 4 years study. What I'm going to pursue is my interest because I have interest in politics. I should make sure I am going to pursue my interest, but I will add something that at the end of the day, if I do not get work to do, I can start something or be able to do something so that I don't end up as an unemployed graduate. A typical example, I can 1 million code program. I can handle specific people. It's a government policy. It was in a university. They could mean for political, allow me for religious studies, allow me for communications. There's no ready job available per the statistics that I'm seeing and what I'm hearing in the news. Say, as I know, make sure can I take advantage of this 1 million coders program? I train for 6 months. In coding, me for political science more. She can coordinate will be helpful. It was after pursuing my interest at the university. What can I do with a skill that I've learned? After, if I don't get employment, I became gainfully employed on my own or help an entity. But many a times, the individuals involved, we are so complacent. All we tend to do, we go to school for 4 years and then we are all waiting for white collar jobs. What the government is going to provide or what the private sector is willing to give to us. And there's always records to show. I can see the number of university graduates that we have there. The employment readily available, you don't get. And the statistic that shows only 10% of graduates annually are able to get jobs in their first year of graduation. The data can change as and when, the year it depends. But critically, 10% of only graduates I'm about out every year. Only 10% that year I'm a school now. No, if it's mommy, I'm a banana nuchumo. So this should tell you, as an individual, no buy a school, you also need to do your checks and balances to know, I am going to pursue my interest. But at the end of the day, there should be an option or a way out for me. You don't always have to stick to one way of doing things. We should be innovative and thinkers in our own way. The individual's fault. Now we come to the government policies. Now, what is the role of the government? That you know quite. If you go and study politics, we have something we call the social contract. The people willingly give out their power and the mandate to politicians so that they create an enabling environment for them to thrive. That is the citizenry. You give us a social contract. When you come, you create employment for us to do. The bongo in if we know we cannot employ 10,000 engineers a year, we should make sure that the intake in the universities of engineers that we are taking in shouldn't be up to 10,000. The jobs readily available is 3,000. At least the much we should take should be 5,000. We know so that the competition will be tough. But we shouldn't take more than we can cater for. And then it grows frustration in the system. Now going back to the question, has KNUST ever done anything that we say they are living up to the name of a technology institution? Bongo, the first question that we ask is, do they have the resources? Do they have the facilities? Do they have the equipment to be able to live up to the name that is on them? I have a doctor friend. He went to one of the universities in Ghana to study medicine. Some of the practical, even a whole university, the practical things that they have here, some of them, you see that they buy it on themselves, or some of the time when they go to the lab, they are told to improvise because they don't have it. Studies in China, China, everything is just available. It's just there, so you are able to explore, and that way, even if you are writing your exam, you have a mental picture of whatever you've practiced with your hands, and you are able to answer. The question is it the same for us? ni egbe school na China ni eba ni egbe school na China ni eba na you have a licensure exam say the same thing at the hospital na can a practicals for licensure exam say some of the things that he was seeing in China na be ekobe and they were told that they should improvise and do it bongo. So in as much as what blaming man be they are not innovative enough, they are not critical thinkers enough, they are not doing their best enough. We the institutions and the government there, many who will feel okay why I can scare this a technological school where they have everything that they need to train you to be someone who is developing something and not only in theory. Bongo, if you call our university students to sit down, we can speak good English, we can explain policies to you, we can actually even tell you how everything is done by the theory that we've learned in the books. Bongo, but then when it comes to the practicalization of it, it becomes a challenge. The former minister said something like, we have people who goes outside the country to go and win robotics competitions. Mimale. But when it comes to doing the things online, physically, it becomes a problem. Bongo, the fact that Ghana is handicapped with certain things in training best, training best IT people, training best doctors and lawyers, doesn't mean it's the same thing everywhere. It's a tough competitive world. So if we are not investing in our educational system enough and just wishing that everything out of the blue will be perfect, we are just sitting on a time bomb where we have a lot of educated people, but they can never put the education to use. That's why even when you are studying law, we have something that we call mock, courthouse. That's why they practice. Even in political science, whenever you are doing a discourse like my brother is sitting here, and sometimes politics say they divide us, they give a topic matter. I remember my own Professor Jampu. Divide the class into two. He puts a question down and he wants to see how you think and how you, when you get the opportunity, you can formulate or contribute to government policies. That should be the same thing for the people that are learning hands-on training. I don't think you can go to a technical school and go and do 80% theory, 20% practicals, and come out as the best person who can build a car. It doesn't work like that.
Students at school now nage abomode anya fe electronics ke kro machine no abia ga mean the state of the school fe ejisani bi mo kan awon no oko wili e wo kan yan ti ba fe te wo ba fe ni bi ojugba okay wa check ni bi anya ke kro
so my point of records okay here in university they have done certain things which has been recognized internationally there are a number of them so mosquito repellent KNUST, AI, which fintech for farmers, KNUST students. Now, me, I'm a teacher, and I've been teaching for a very long time, and I'm a technical person. Again, what question she find or one problem? People or parents have perception. Okay, only learn at 36. In a 48, no, we have a technical. That is the beginning of our problems. Now, technical education, you don't need 46 aggregate. But when 999, half a technical. Technical is one of the most difficult subjects. Well, how can you go and do electrical engineering? No, 39, 40. Now I feel elective maths. Benny John Rollis. Ne touch the Kodibia on the Ghana by here. We have to look at technology. Country failing progress is technology. So if you don't shift your attention on technology, we have problems. Now I feel polytechnics. The main aim of polytechnic is to bridge the gap. Technical education. Many all the polytechnics say business BAJ, Baba Oven of accounting BAJ. I see technical aspect. Will be a good question. Emit. Because Jame are tombo more theory, are tombo more practicals. I can have a concept. No learning on the job. Many will feel like a cautious. Sorry with my language. Hello, poor modern school. How can you create? That is where we have it. No, Dan, no, bear me Tony, your voice and take care. need to apply electricity ka I mukoba ne na 23 never have apply la lie I will not allow lele asho came to stay the people ni ba chon secondary school me fi agmene me ko be VR top people see ka wa je na kan jomo I can be a bomb den and na technical I get technical is for people ni am boom technical is for people ni am leni. That is where we have the problem. No, we are not able to raise a lot because oh, we feel technical. Oh, we have face science. No, science be here. I'm have face science. Okay, come and investigate. I'm not technical because go technical. About okay, him. That is where the problem. And I be as I'm saying, and I choose courses. Obana. And one thing also, see, university say they must have something we call entrepreneurial skills. Compulsorily, it's in every school, every university, you must have that component as a course. Because we should not be producing people. The men are producing only for employment. But we should have a mind of producing people to come and produce or to come and create jobs. University should not be seen as we are investing. We are tuning but we are investing. No, about creating opportunity, about creating new tomorrow. When we start having that mindset there, I don't know, but me time me invest here. Me time me compulsory offer entrepreneurial skills. As the point in time, me I get minister and agba when I get. She need banana. Potential, you know, I can say, oh, we have electrical engineering. Born on your own, you are not supposed to wait for anybody to be employed. Moro bena okase entrepreneurial skills. Ona atombu beno avini budenge you can be your own. Thank God this government no wabane. Okay, we are giving startup to people who have an idea and they want to do A, they want to do B. Erika J, I think he is in charge. Nini you ne le main come le ko ye bie nete na ha le startup 50,000. Boni at the end of the enye e start local. No, government is looking at those things again. Mofianu ni onya ideas. No feel like we're not creating local. You want to do something with the skills that you have acquired in the university. Come and justify it. We'll give you money. Grant, JLO, grant. Bona feni onya ni no apply. But you be a fire. Sometimes I go make a win. I feel like you know Amali. I get what politically. I know the Amali Anyafi is not doable until me go in the bus. Chicago. Oh, me and any my win. Guidance and counseling from the SSS level is very important. Every school must have a guidance and counselor. Every school. That's what I choose to call say. As I didn't go here, they have a program. If I have advice, coffee, they know how to make maybe late. Even many, maybe attention me and Nessie, because I'm flag up, and I know, be a Nessie and many choke, Papa. Oh, Nessie, where I go to a general Nessie, midwife. Meanwhile, we're off damage, we're a peril pretty, we're a lot. She come go to general Nessie, midwife, because no guidance, no counseling. I think I get a fair course you're investing, guidance and counseling. Kuni teachers who anya she me who because can't be na and about poster because they must have offices on their own. Need time and more me programs here schools. You see the institutions are not working.
Ojuba ina ge kemuna enu wo she wo BF Mr. Woto to
no ni to ma
producer of no ke line say asho no e kule ewe mom ni ke na gbe oba na me
you any emergency you are trying to clarify something out there. The university have done things. My submission was they have not done things. I said I want us to name something that they have done that is of national development. And I stated that if you look at the University of Michigan, you got universities in the United States, they develop softwares and systems that are adopted by the country. and they use. That's what I'm saying. I'm very much aware of things that they've done. Of course, the School of Engineering do mill, they do agro processing materials for farmers. They even have a water filtering system that helps like communities that are suffering with illegal mining. They do that. But the question is, why hasn't the government actually taken that to help mitigate against these diseases affecting overall nation? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should be a development, something that tangibly we can say, okay, it has taken national development that every person is very much aware. Sometimes it's not because the school is not doing it, but the resources to make sure, okay, what they have developed there is being pushed out there. Everyone is conscious of it. Okay, this is an institution. He made mention of guidance and counseling. I believe, okay, a development local and he gets the necessary backing in. Someone who has the same interest in that gets to know, like, whatever my brother is doing and I'm also interested is doable. But if you are to what for any BP and just on our portal, I guess you school and can and no one has any idea of it, a lot of people will not be it. And yes, I'm going to emphasize again on the guidance and counseling. It's very true, Bongo, because a lot of our SHS graduates are going to school today with no idea of the course that they are going to do. In my time, I saw some. A lot of people, they backbenchers now. They don't know the reason why they are even choosing the course. They don't know why they chose a particular course that they are studying. And at the end of the day, they are just adding up to the number of graduates out there. They can't go to school now. Those that are fortunate to come from a good family, at least, no matter the course, but what about the ordinary Ghanaian child? So parents should do well. Stakeholders should do well. Community leaders. Let's try to admonish them on the path. Let's use our experiences to guide them. We only have a lot of graduates, but then contributing their quota to national development is something that we can see.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Bongo.
You can watch your Facebook. Good morning, Bongo, and your guests. Keep the good work up. The NDC should. Okay. David Cloth get good morning, Mr. Bongo. Where we gonna get cleaning. Still the waste. Okay, beside the road. Benito aganuchu mo no cho say na mo be keja ba sa mam le lo maka ba je gota na ba sa tian ina ge incha menuvo ewe ojugba keyan boy Benedict Bongo, I think we should move from land acquisition. Okay, I think we should move away from the land acquisition from the chiefs and other families to the government, whereby the government takes in charge of that, because of we buying lands from our chiefs, we build anyhow without planning. When you look at countries like Uganda and their buildings and how neatly planned, okay, when you try to get shikmojena for Kenya ba jamla lodi egbekono koni anyana plan ujugba ke shikamo. Okay, the government should continue with the cleaning program every month, because if we did that, it will solve the flood by getting everyone involved. Elan Soya Lehun Ikenoba Nagbenege, if breweries make sure their bottles are returned for them to recycle and reuse, the water companies could also put similar measures in place for their bottles to start with. The point on rubber collection by Ameyao is very, very true. Political evangelist.
Yeah. Institutions must work. There are reasons why the framers of the constitutions get departments. There are serious reasons why all those institutions are there to check ourselves, to ensure I can be a So wherever you find yourself as a leader of any institution, make sure you deliver.
Okay.
Make sure you don't look at human face. And then what politicians, we are also part of the problem. Because we want to have a political face here, but we want to bend the rules, and that is also creating a major. Yesterday, one environmental person, he was crying, she was crying because me akalu ye ishona bebe temfish bugani bi temfinsha ni adekana de mashaga mo fiamu ni ba fe ba mo lelen mo me fe ne prosecutor. Okay. In fact, for a prosecutor, a friend of me, that day if you don't pay the money about what me mum, we have to come in. No bar, in can be a man here because be many one okay, I've been able to try. I said, my pay scale, over on your piaco, the cafe, can you feel like later on, echo by echo by Gagbe, I got as an about a jacket, a honey, about to make a politics. Can you imagine this? Meanwhile, as an affair the writing, Moko Lechina, Lechina, ma te school near Tony, or China, China, a Muhila Komeabe. Me is airborne disease, get there, a banyan book be a banyan boat at any time. Okay. Ko aye, I get chief ma, ko aye, I get macheco, ko aye, I get. So we are the problems. Okay. Ojogba. Ontenu wa chake na kanibie, Moko Feni nehi, Nagale by year, no allow him black la year. Ojugba iche nagbe no inage Daniel ni ba mensan eji NDC communicator le hu ke ngene ebi formogbi no e ba sumo ko ne wishi ebi yo John Lina mensan ngene ji formogbi o pake mo afato e no da wa chon Ghana nyu papa ko ni no fe no ni sa akemla na ke tunye bo mo ba yi no ni was a sure mo ke no ya fi wono happy birthday coming from Niji Opa Daniel ni ba mensan to Niji Ebio John Lina mensan shikome ku engbeji ni tetelate nke inche Amenuvo Williams political evangelist nakano inche ameya okojo Michael lehun political activist obo ba susu wo fi lojugba shikin ayen nke no fe no fi oni ebaye mu shidaya me fe ni ke we kenye no we don shoni mle wo ke imano son o kenye